All right, here we go. Page 131 on trigonometry, continued 8-4. In the text, page 571. This is date 3/31/2020. So we're going to use inverse trig ratios to find the measures of angles. So if you know the sine, cosine, and tangent of an acute angle, you can use a calculator to find the measure of the angle, which is the inverse of the trig ratio. So there are three trig ratios, as you know. If the sine of A is x, then the inverse sine of x is the measure of angle A. Now understand, we're going to do these three problems kind of like this, but the inverse sine on a graphing calculator or a calculator has trig functions, sine, cosine, tangent. The inverse sine is in blue, inverse cosine's in blue, inverse tangent's in blue, so you have to hit second that sine in order to get your inverse sine, cosine, inverse cosine, or inverse tangent. All right, so these three are basically the same. If you have cosine of A is x, then the inverse sine or inverse cosine of x is the measurement of angle A. And if you have the tangent of angle A equals x, then the inverse tangent of x is the measurement of angle A, whichever one you have. So let's do the first example. This will help you. And remember, as we do these, you have to be in what's called degree mode. Okay, degree mode on a TI-84 graphing calculator. In other words, here's the mode button right here next to the second. If you hit mode, right now I'm in degree. If I go down to radian and hit enter, I'm in radian mode. So you must be in degree mode. You must check that in your calculator in order for these problems to work, because we're working with degrees, not radians. All right, so first example, use a calculator to find the measurement of angle A to the nearest tenth. So here's angle A, I got it in yellow. Standing at that, we have the opposite side and we have the hypotenuse given. So opposite and hypotenuse is sine, so S-O-H, sine is opposite over hypotenuse. So sine of angle A is equal to 18/27. That's how you would write it. That's equal to 2/3. If the sine of A is 2/3, then the inverse sine of 2/3 is your measurement of angle A. So on the calculator, making sure you're in degree mode, here's how you would do that problem. Second quit, go into an open window. I'm going to clear this. We'd go inverse cosine of 2/3, 2 divided by 3, and hit enter. And you must put the 2/3 in parentheses. And you get 41.8. which is the measurement of the angle. And that's how simple it is on the graphing calculator. Just like dividing by 2 is the inverse of 2. All right? So next phase problem is right over here. So use a calculator to find the measurement of the angle A to the nearest tenth. So if we're standing at angle A, we know the opposite side, that's the hypotenuse opposite the right angle, and we know the adjacent side. Opposite and adjacent, which trig function is this? It's TOA. So, TOA, it's tangent. So we're going to use the tangent of angle A equals opposite over adjacent, because I drew a nice straight line for you here. There you go, opposite over adjacent side. Okay, 6/20. Substitute that in. And then we're going to take the inverse tangent of angle A, and the inverse tangent of 6/20. When we do that, we get angle A equals 16.69 or 16.7 rounded to the nearest tenth, which is said right up there. So let's do that one here. If we go inverse, let me move it over a little bit. If we go inverse tangent of 6/20 like that, we get 16.69 or 16.7, and that's how you'd work that on your calculator very easily. And the last example, we have angle A is here. So you're standing at angle A. What sides do you know? Well, you know the hypotenuse because that's the opposite the right angle, and you know the adjacent side. What you don't know is the opposite. So adjacent and hypotenuse. Which trig function, that's what you got to ask yourself, which trig function is angle A? It's adjacent over hypotenuse. That's ka. So ka, toa, we use cosine. Cosine of angle A is A over H, adjacent over hypotenuse. Substitute 3/15, 3 and 15 in for the angle A, or A and H, adjacent and hypotenuse side. You take the inverse cosine of both sides. The inverse cosine of the cosine of A is A, angle A, and the inverse cosine of 3/15. So let's do inverse cosine of 3 divided by 15, and you get 78.46 or 78.5, and that's how easy that is. All right, hope this works. Good luck. We'll talk to you some more.